got something on my mind. I bet you know what I'm thinking about. You know I can't stop loving you. Every time when you're looking at me, it feels like my heart is skipping a beat, yeah. You know I can't live without you. You make me crazy in a good way. So come on, baby, let's talk. Let's talk about love, like you and me all night. And let's talk about love and feeling alright. And let's talk about love. Yeah, baby, come and dance with me. You're everything I'll ever need. So let's talk about love. Can I take you out tonight? Kiss you in the moonlight. There is no place I'd rather be. Come on, girl, we can take my car, drinking some beers in your favorite bar, yeah. You know I can't live without you. You make me crazy in that good way. So come on, baby, let's talk. Let's talk about love, like you and me all night. And let's talk about love and feeling alright. And let's talk about love. Yeah, baby, come and dance with me. You're everything you'll ever need. So let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 7. Episode number 7 of the Marriage Makeover. Thank you to those of you who have joined from 1 to 6. And today we're hitting number 7. The 7 is a very meaningful number for us as believers. It's a complete number, but that doesn't mean the show will end after tonight. But just means that the show will get even better after tonight. And tonight we're talking about getting married at 60 and beyond. And as you all know, I did that. I did that crazy thing. And so tonight I have another couple that did that crazy thing. And so we're just going to jump in and talk about it, keep it real, just like we always do, because that's what we do here on the Marriage Makeover. For those of you who are watching, my name is Dr. Sharon Arundel. I am the CEO of Inspired Wholeness Enterprise, and I am a marriage guru. I love marriage. I love the institution of marriage. And my mantra is, and my hope is, to take those couples who need to be taken from roommates to romance. And so tonight we're talking to a couple that I know well. We see each other every now and then, and they got married recently. So, and they're in their 60 plus, but let me let you see them so you can see that they don't look like they're in their 60 plus, but they are, and there they are. And let me just read their bio. Ronnie, or like I know him as Ron Phi, and Dr. Diane Phi met in October of 2022 after being introduced by his friend from her hometown in Dublin, Georgia. Both of their spouses passed away in 2020, almost a month from each other. He asked her out for a date, and it seemed as if they had known each other forever. That's what she says, and I believe that's what he says. They both decided to start out as friends, nothing more. However, the friendship grew, and he proposed to her at his 65th birthday party. What a gift you got. Ron. What a gift you got. 65th birthday party in Dublin, which was held at his best friend's home. She was totally surprised, but says her heart had already fallen for this man and knew God was in the midst of this union. She says he had such a godly and warm spirit. They got married on December 30th, 2023. They both enjoy eating out together, playing air hockey, traveling, playing pool, walking, and attending church activities. They both serve on the praise and worship team at their church in Dublin. And he also serves as a deacon and on the men's praise and worship team at our church, All Nations Life Development Christian Center in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Who could do that? Go to two churches at the same time. Their pastor in Georgia has asked them to partner with another young couple in leading the marriage ministry. They both love the Lord with all their hearts and want to fulfill his purpose for their lives. They desire to invest in their marriage by expressing love and rendering kind acts to each other every day. They are enjoying marital bliss as a newlywed and thanking God for their extended bonus family. The marriage makeover receives Ron and Diane Phi. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello, how y'all doing tonight?
We are good. You guys good?
Oh yeah, we fine.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump in because I also have somebody here with me that I've tried to get on this show before, but with no. He said no. He said no. So tonight I got him to say yes. I got him to say yes without even pleading, prodding, or anything. So tonight I have the dream guy with me. For those of you who don't know my dream guy, this is him. His name is Keith Arundel. And we too, gotta come closer so they can see. We too got married at 60 and beyond. And so he's here with me. I'm hoping he's going to chime in and we're going to keep it real tonight for you so that you can get the gist of what we're talking about. So the first question that I have tonight is, it said, how did you meet? But you already said that in your bio. So when and how did you know this should be your spouse?
Well, I can go first on that. The way I know that this will be my spouse, we dated, called each other, FaceTime each other for maybe every night, every other day. We FaceTime, talk, and laugh, and then I felt a connection with our spirit, and then also as we talked more and more and got acquainted with each other, and then as I talked to her goals were lining up with my goals, and so that was good as we talked. And then I said, "Oh, that's good." And then after we kept talking and talking, then I said, "Well, how about let's go on a date?" So I made my plans, and I went to Georgia, and then we went out on a dinner date. And then so happened we went on a dinner date. When she came to the door at my friend's house, my friend let her in. I had some flowers for her. So I told my friend, I said, "Now you disappear and I'm gonna go to the door." She was looking for my friend, but she didn't realize it gonna be me to let her in. So when I let her in the house, she looked up, she seen me, she said, cause she seen pictures of me, but she didn't see the real me till I got to Georgia. And when I opened that door, I hit the flowers. I gave her a kiss on the cheek. She said, "Oh my God," I shocked her kissing on the cheek because she said, "Oh my God, this man kissing me already on the cheek." But that's how I felt because with our connection, talking on the phone and doing FaceTime, I felt the connection there. And so as we went on that dinner date, we sat down and ate. Wasn't shame at all. You know how you meet a person and you say, you know what? You get shy eating in front of that person, wonder how things gonna react, and how eating in the first, you may not eat all your food or something, you know, trying to eat slow or whatever, or eat fancy or whatever. So I just ate. We ate natural, just like we knowed each other for years. And then after we finished eating, we went back home, and believe me, the dinner date was so nice and beautiful. I went back home singing a song, y'all. I found me a friend. I need to make me a wife. Thank you, Lord. God gave me that song. And so when I went in the house singing that to my friends, they said, what you saying? I said, I found me a friend. Please make me a wife. Thank you, Lord. I wasn't in love yet, but our connection was so strong, you know, because I wasn't looking to get married again, but I was looking for a godly woman. And I seen that in her, you know, how when you go to church and you may meet someone and your spirit connects so easy like that. And so that's how we connected. So I'm gonna let her talk. I ain't gonna take too much time. I let her speak on that too.
Chime in, my sister. Chime in.
Okay. What he said was very true. And I must say this, that Ron had been married almost 29 years. I had been married 24 years. So we were in our widow and widower stage, you know, in 2020. And when his friend's wife called me and said she wanted me to meet someone, she told me all about him and everything. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I've been married for 24 years. I'm done, you know. I'm you know, just gonna go on with my single life. So but the rest is history, like he said before. You know, once we went out, there was a connection. It did take me a little while to just kind of open up my heart and allow God to do what God does, you know, but that's when and how we met each other. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for Mr. Keith to chime in on that question. How did you know this should be your spouse? Me. That would be me. That would be me, everyone. How did you know?
I don't know. I really didn't know. I met her and we started talking.
Come closer
And
to the camera.
Gosh, one thing led to the next. I was going out. Matter of fact, I was in Trinidad at the time because I just left. The COVID had hit, and I went to Trinidad to hang out. And when I got there, COVID was really cracking up, and I was calling her and just talking with her on the phone and texting back and forth. And I got the word in Trinidad to get ready to shut it down. You're going to leave or stay. So, well, I'm leaving. I called her and told her I'm coming back. I was only gone for like about 6 days. Once I got back, she had some pink eye or something. And
I was sick, everybody. I was sick.
And so we went out to the park and hang out for a little bit. And from that day, I think we had like 49 days of straight, just back and forth, going to the house and talking. And then I don't know, around the 40th day or so, I told her, let's get married. And on the 49th day, we got married.
All right.
And just moved on. And I didn't even realize what the significance of the number was until probably a month later, just looking at the calendar and say, wow, 49 days. That's got to mean something. So,
Oh, yes.
that was it. 7 times 7.
7 times 7.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the story. And well, how we met was in Home Depot. So for those of you watching, Home Depot is the spot. That's one of the spots that you can meet. For those of you who think you can only meet at a church or at a restaurant or wherever, Home Depot is a spot. Go to Home Depot. And I knew him from before, but I really could not remember who he was when I was there. And I did not look my best, ladies. I looked my worst on that day,
Wow.
I think, because I was painting my house. So I didn't look my best, but we just started talking about anything, everything, and nothing, and not ever thinking this would lead to anything besides that meeting at Home Depot. But it did. And so that's our little tidbit for that question. But our next question would be, what are some challenges that you have faced as a result of marrying at the tender age of 60 plus?
Dr. Arundel, I just want to piggyback on what you said about Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
Ron's best friend saw me in Home Depot. And then he went home and got on the phone and called Ron about me. Isn't that something? So yes, Home Depot is
Home Depot, everybody. Home Depot. Go to Home Depot.
As far as challenges, Dave, what do you?
Well, first challenge is, for me, getting married at the age of 60 again and older, the ones who out there desire to get married, the challenge for me is to, let someone in your space and to get to learn that person, because not only you done lost a loved one, they going on, and then you letting another person into your space, that's a challenge. And then as we have a challenge, as we travel back and forth to Georgia, then we travel back and forth to Dublin, Port St. Lucie. So that's a challenge. We set a goal, as both of us, had to put in our life. That's a challenge that we had to do, to set a goal. And then, not only that, when she may tell you, I'm a person I brought up, I don't like stuff in the way. I'm a person that I like things neat, and I don't like nothing out of order. So by her coming into my space and if I see something out of place, I'm gonna move it. It don't matter. I'm not gonna ask you. I may say, babe, hey, this your or whatever, but I'm gonna have to move it, because that's a challenge that I had to learn. Because a lot of my kids and grandkids said, Dad, you just over addict, clean
OCD.
OCD.
Yeah. And so, always been like that, because my mom was a maid. And when we got up in the morning, she didn't let you brush your teeth. You had to make that bed up and clean the bathroom and do all these other things. So that's why, when someone coming in your space, that was a challenge to me to learn that all over again. Because I did learn it with my wife who went on. And then when I had to let Diane into my space, that was another challenge for me.
All right.
And mind you, yes, and mind you, I love his OCD. You can clean all you want to. That's the way I feel. But like you said, one of the challenges that we both face is, handling two homes. One of the reasons why we traveled back and forth is due to our mothers being in nursing facility. However, my mom recently passed, but we promised each other that we will go back and forth and check on each other. So it's been challenging trying to know what to pack, what to wear, how much to pack, how much not to pack. So that's been kind of challenging. But overall, communication has been the key, with us sitting down saying, okay, we're leaving on such and such a, our schedules, getting our schedules in sync. So that's been, one of the challenges, but we have learned to overcome that challenge.
Any challenges, Mr. Keith?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of them.
Oh man, here we go. Here we go.
But
Word.
one of the main challenges I see is just kind of, I think you get to the point in life whereby you want to be by yourself, or you think you want to be by yourself, but God hadn't designed you to be by yourself. So when you look at what you want to do and what you don't do, I mean, to say, things that you would do, as by myself for a little while there. And something comes up. I mean, you just do it. Go to the, pay a bill, or maybe go to the, to Walmart to get something. You go and you get it, and you don't even realize that you didn't ask the other person, hey, what you want? What you want? And you get back, you say, well, how come you didn't get that for me? I said, you think that you're still by yourself.
Yeah.
And you make all these decisions by yourself. And then one day, well, what happened to me? And she jacked me up all the time. How come you didn't tell me?
I do not jack up people.
I just, I just think I'm by myself a lot, and and that's not the case. And it really hurts because it's not like I'm deliberate. It's just
right.
that the mind just, you used to doing something, you just do it and don't think about it until at the end. And then you got to come back and say, well, okay, I get what you want. I'll go back to the store and get what you want, or something like that. Oh, give me a list. I'll go and make it, add your list to what I got. Go get the rest of the stuff,
Yeah.
So, and I'm still doing that. I just gotta.
I can relate. The interdependence, yes. Independent, yes.
Independent. But my challenge. Well, for all of you all were married before and your spouses passed away. Diane, Ron, Keith, I didn't have that. I came out of divorce situation. So for those of you watching who have gone through that and you feel like you get to a place of stuck, I am just stuck, and to the place where you feel like I could do this by myself. I don't need anybody. And so while the 49 days is going on, you're thinking, I'm thinking, I'm just going to have this friend, right? This friend, and we're going to be friends. And his friend was the number one word, because Keith is a good friend. He's a good friend. Besides being a good spouse, he's a good friend. And so I just wanted to be friends. And he was like, well, how long are we going to do this friend thing? And so for me, it's a challenge not knowing if I'm doing the right thing at the right time, not knowing, because you can literally go back, even I'm a therapist and I help tons of couples, but going back in my mind space, you wonder, okay, what did I do wrong the last time that I don't want to repeat again? So, you're constantly challenging yourself in this marriage, but the good thing about it is God is in the midst. God is in the midst of it. And because of that, we spend time often just praying and reading together. And sometimes it's not even reading. I was saying the other day, sometimes we just challenge each other with the Bible. Do you remember who so-and-so was? Do you remember what so-and-so? And it becomes fun. It becomes fun. And so, but that's my main challenge, not always knowing if I'm doing the right thing at the right time. And always challenging myself, even if I'm not opening my mouth, I am challenging myself in my headspace. And so that was a challenge for a while. It's not as challenging anymore. Thank
Right.
you, God. So,
Yeah.
um, and so tonight I'm playing a dual role. I am the host and I'm also a guest because
Yes.
we're having a conversation tonight. Conversation, a genuine conversation about being married, not just being married, but getting married at 60 and beyond, and what that means. And so the next question would be, what have you had to learn or relearn about communication and conflict resolution?
You want to go first, or you want to go first?
One thing I learned about, I had to relearn, back to what you were saying earlier, is that we have to consider that now I'm no longer single, I'm married again. And when there are decisions to be made, that I definitely try to include Ron on decisions that will affect us both. So that's one thing I had to relearn. And another thing that I truly admire about Ron as far as communication is concerned, he set the expectation at the onset of the relationship that when we talk about something or have to resolve a conflict, and we're not trying to be, so holier than thou, but one of the things that he said that just really just resonated with me is that when it comes to us resolving our issues, that we talk with each other with respect for one another, as well as not going to bed angry or not discussing whatever the issue is. So that is one key communication that has really helped us, or have the pillow talks at night, before we, call it an evening at night. But just, inviting him in, when it's time to make decision and not just making it on my own. That's one of the things I had to relearn.
Yep. Who wants to go next?
Well, with me, I had to relearn, letting someone in my space and saying it not just about me now. So when you getting married at this age again and you done thought about it, say, well, God done opened up your heart and let someone in. So you had to relearn to say, well, someone coming in your space. So now you got to open up your heart and your mind and, try to make sure everything well pleasant, and then work things out, as you go down this road with this other person coming into your space in your life. And so just like she said earlier, always believe in whatever, if you have a disagreement, always talk it out and don't go to bed angry before don't let the sun go down on your wrath, and then work things out. And see, men as a whole was shut down. A woman was still taught and want to know why you want to talk about, baby, just leave that alone and try to brush it under the rug. But see, I'm different. Me, myself, I can't sleep. If my marriage tore up, we got a disagreement, I can't sleep that night. So I got to get that thing straight before I go to bed at night and see what's going on and see what's bothering her. Just like, because cause you can't go to church and then have a good time, or you can't go nowhere, have a good time because something bothering you. That's what I had to relearn and stuff, with conflicts and resolving conflicts and stuff like that.
Well, for me, I'm still learning how to, and like I said, everyone, I am the counselor, right? The therapist in the room. And it's so much easier to be a therapist and help other couples than to literally counsel yourself, you know. And I find myself counseling myself often about how I should resolve certain things, and when to speak and when to shut up, you know, and all those things. I'm really, I can easily help another couple, and I've helped many, and I still do. I even helped them when I was single, but that's from a counseling point of view, personal point of view. I have to talk to myself often. I'm constantly in my own headspace about this, because marriage is one of God's greatest institution, and you don't want to mess it up. And sometimes we find ourselves in a big mess, and when we get out of that big mess, however it is that we got out, that's why a lot of people just stay stuck, because they don't want to make that big mess again and that big mistake again. But I say to those of you watching, if you're watching and you're in that space that I'm talking about, pray on it. Go to God about it. And sometimes, you know, the person you're looking at may not be the person. It may be somebody else. The things that you have in your mind about that, who you're supposed to marry or not marry or whatever, you really need to, and I say this to people often, just sit with God. You know, just sit. And people say, what do you mean by that? Just sit quietly in a quiet space, and you will receive downloads in your mind about this, because you don't want to get into the wrong space in a relationship that God holds so dear. Don't want to get into a wrong space. Do you have anything?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the main issues for me was, you know, just, you know, sometimes when you do something and you know there's going to be an argument about it, and you try to bypass that. And in the past, you know, you just kind of stop and say, well, you know, I'm just not gonna go there. But if you really want to stay married, you got to go there.
Gotta go there.
Gotta go there.
You can't bypass it.
That's right.
And that is hard to understand sometimes, because sometimes she might say something and I'm 180 degrees out. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna just have to go and pray about this. And that's how I get around it, because, you know, to me that issue doesn't make sense, but it's important to her, so it's got to make sense somehow.
You're right.
You really got to think about it. So I had to sit down and talk to myself many a times. Keith, what you want to do about this? How are you going to make this work? You know, if you're going to make this work, you got to give up something.
A lot of give and take.
You know, and that's tough.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're thinking about getting married in the 60s, realize that there's a lot of things you're going to have to give up, because the individual you're getting married to a lot of times has as many issues as you do. It's just that they're different issues, and you guys have to come together on them, because, you know, there's no way that you can ask all the questions you need to ask on a date or in 100 days or 100 years.
49 days.
Right. Maybe it's, you know, it's kind of strange, but, you know, regardless of what happens, I mean, even right now, a simple thing is she's waking up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
initially I was asking her, I said, "Are you on drugs or something? Something's wrong? Who you calling out early in the morning? You know?"
Yes.
Jesus.
So you have to realize it's a different personality, and if you're getting married at 20 or 30 or something like that, or 40, then you guys grow up together. So you got to go and take care of the baby or something like that. But
Mhm.
at 60, there's no kids involved.
Right.
So you expect more personal time, right?
Mhm.
That's not always the case. So you have to be aware of that. You gotta talk about that before you get there.
And you
Wow.
know, when Deacon Arundel said about you're an early riser
Mhm.
at 4:30. Well, I get up. I'm an early riser as well. And then there's sometimes Ron will say, "Babe, you need to just lay right here. Don't move." You know. And I'm like, I want to get up. I can't hear my back start hurting or something. But he has my best interest in mind. He knows that I just need to unwind and just rest sometimes. And a lot of times he'll make fun and say things like, "We'll get started at 9 o'clock," as far as getting up. But I just I kind of understand what Deacon Arndale was saying there about, he was like, "Why you getting up so early?" But I just, like to just have my day kind of planned out and ready to roll before it slips by. But it can
Yeah.
be challenging. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm gonna bypass the 4:30 conversation because it is what it is. And I I do get up early in the morning. Sometimes it's before 4:30, but
Oh,
I have an agenda, and it's an agenda, it's a God agenda, right? And if I don't if I don't do it at that hour, I won't get it in. And for me, that has always been very, very urgent for me. But these days on the weekends, I've been getting up later. He probably doesn't even notice that I get up at 6 or 6:30 or 7. But that's something we're still working it out. And we're gonna keep trying to work it out so that both parties are happy in the morning. So for those of you listening, we're still talking about getting married at 60 plus. And we haven't even talked about romance really. And so romance, what about romance? Where does that fit at 60 and beyond? I did not have that as a question here, but I think we should plug that in because some people are probably listening and going, "What do you do at 60 and beyond?" And there's so much to do. And when I say romance, everybody's mind goes to sex.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. There are so many other ways to enjoy the other person. And I'm going to start this off by saying, for me,
mm-hmm.
all you got to do is hold my hand. And it sounds so simple, but I like that. I like holding hands. I like the door being open, and all those things are romance to me. I like it's nothing big at all. None of the things that are romantic to me now at 65 is what was romantic to me at 35. It's
Right.
totally different, totally different. And we have to understand that if you're getting married at 60 and beyond, and both parties are 60 and beyond, that it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same as it was when you were younger. So for me, that's where the romance jumps in. It's holding hands and doing all those, just nudging each other in church. It sounds disrespectful, but just doing that, or even on Sunday, they started playing some calypso beats, and we like calypso, so we start dancing with each other. In that's, to me, is romance, and that keeps a marriage well for me. It keeps a marriage well.
Well, you know, I think that comes back for me anyhow to the getting up time. You know, because I just at that 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. To me, that's cuddling time. That's not no sex, and I'm just thinking around, and that's the time she had a bed. I said, wow. So that was significant for me, and I had to get over that, and so now I try to open the car door for her or something like that, and kind of little things like that, going to Walmart, holding hands, and trying to get it going, but because that that's what you do. You try to get your little just a little bit of time here and there, and move on.
Yeah. But romance for me, at age 60, just like you say, it's not all about sex. And as you get older, we do know mechanical stuff start working. So the ones who out there 70 and 80, you may need Dr. Pill. So I'm just telling the ones who out there 70 and 80 what you may need. But I'm just saying, like you say, romance, I like holding hands. And then I like cuddling up together with each other. And then I open the door for her. I buy some flowers, bring home for her. Then she like a baked bean, not chocolate candy. She like baked bean. I buy some boxes of baked beans and bring them home to her. Oh, babe, she studied chocolate candy like most women would want Valentine candy. I would give her some baked beans. and she would love that, so
that's romantic, my sister. That's romantic. We've come a long way.
And see, a lot of time, like she said, getting up early, she been so used to getting up early because she was single, and really a lot of time I know she be tired because she have a lot to do on her end when we go to Georgia with her challenges when her mother was living. So a lot of time when she here in Port St. Lucie, I would tell her, baby, lay down and just rest. I just want to hold you or whatever, or lay in the bed. Because I always like having something next to me, as I got married. It ain't about, getting caught up all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. Yeah, you're right about that.
So that's
we're gonna try to do better, Diane. We're gonna try to do better. We're gonna try to do better, guys. Thank you all for letting the cats out of the bag so that we could do better.
And Ron he's very shivery. I had to get used to him open the car doors. I was like, oh, he's just gonna do this probably until we get married, but it's all the time. He's a car door opener, holding hands. He gives lots and lots and lots of compliments. I can just walk through the house and he is like, oh, I like your hair. I like what you got on. I like how you put that outfit together. I'm like, babe, I got on workout clothes. But I mean, he's very, very complimentary, So to me, that's very romantic. And he's a communicator. It's romantic to me that this man loves to talk one-on-one. I love that about him. I really do.
All right.
And another thing, men, not only being romance to me, about sometimes my baby can be standing at the kitchen sink. Sometimes I get close to her and I pat on the hip. That romance to me, because I come right down and pat it, So
yeah, because that's your hip or your butt or whatever. And so, I get some pats too on her. Sometimes it's not the hip, but it is romantic. It is. And we're just talking. We're just keeping it real tonight. For those of you listening out there, 60 and beyond, or even if you're younger and you've never been married before and you're, wondering what's going to happen to me. I know people who get married for the first time at 60, and listening to their testimonials is something amazing. So do not give up on this institution. If you feel like this is something for you, journal it.
Yes.
Write it down, write the vision and make it plain. Write it down, write what you're looking for, write what you like, write it down so that when you bump into it, whether it's Home Depot or somewhere else, you will know this is it because you wrote it down. And so I'm going to get to my final question tonight. Kind of skipped around a little bit. And we're going to be talking to you all right now, telling somebody in our listening audience who is 60 plus how to wait on God for a spouse if they desire marriage, or how to enjoy where they are in their singleness.
Well,
I mean, I would say this. I mean, when I was single at 60, I had no intention of getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And until I met her and we started talking, but that wasn't on my mind at all. So, but you have to, I think you have to get free first. You have to let the mind be free and wander, and then that person would come into your space, and then you go from there. If you try hustling or trying to find that person, it's probably not going to work. You run into the wrong person. You have to just kind of wait and let God enlighten you a little bit before that happens.
right.
Ron, you can go next.
Oh, okay. Like Deep was saying, when I was sitting in my living room, Diane from Dublin, Georgia, and I'm from Port St. Lucie. We didn't do no Facebook or nothing. And God connected us together. And by our spirit connecting with each other, just like I looked on Facebook and did see a picture of her, and she seen pictures of me from my friend. So, but a lot of time you don't look for looks all the time, but you're looking for a person who have the same goals you want at age 60 and older, and then you're looking for love, and you want God. You want to make sure God is in the plan with that situation, because you don't want to make a mistake of going into that relationship with at 60 or older if you desire to be married again. So, good thing to wait on God and ask God to give you your heart desire. And make sure you got that connection with that person once you get together with that person, start dating. And then, just like you said earlier, make sure y'all friends first. And then you get to be friends, and then you learn one another. And then you can go as God leads you down that right path.
All right. Diane?
I would just like to say, for those that are single, embrace the space. We were single before we got married, and just enjoy life. God's intention is not for everybody to be married, but just embrace the space that you're in, and just continue to enjoy life and place self-care, do self-care for you. And you will be surprised at the others who are watching, or your mate that may be watching. And for those that are married and desire to be married, the word does tell us to delight ourselves in the Lord, and he will give us the desires of our heart. And I remember, just to make it short, one of the last weddings that I directed, I remember God speaking to my heart through this couple their spouses had both died, and they, found love again. And I just remember sitting still at the reception and hearing the Lord sharing with me that, you see, Diane, you can love again. There is hope, but not knowing that I was going to get married again. But if it's your desire, I think God will fulfill that desire, but allow him to order your steps. Allow him to order your steps, and he will, direct your path, and he will give you what you need and when you need it.
Yes, and we've had some fun here tonight, just talking about it, just talking about getting married, not being married, but getting married at 60 and beyond, and what it actually means for us. And I think in this conversation, we've learned some things as well. We've learned some things about ourselves, about our spouses. Right. And if I were talking to people out there, just relax, that's the thing. Just relax and stop looking at other people who are married and wanting to be like them, because you have no idea what being like them really is. So be careful about that. Be careful about looking at other married couples and wanting what they have, because what they have may not be what you want. Like, I call, for those of you who've seen me live or seen me on Facebook or all over the place, I always refer to Keith as my dream guy, right? But he's my dream guy. So if you end up with him, it might be a nightmare for you. You might not be able to handle it as a dream, So you gotta be careful what you're looking at, how you're looking at it. We show up wonderful. We show up wonderful. We always try to show up wonderful, but some days are not that wonderful. It's just the reality of life, right? But in order to keep yourself sane and not go insane, just be still.
Be still.
I challenge you to be still. I challenge you to be still in whatever situation you're in. Just be still. There's something about stillness that helps you to hear better. There's something, you can even hear the whispers of God when you're still.
Yes.
You gotta learn how to be still. That's part of my getting up at 4:30 in the morning, being still. Those are the hours that I find stillness. So whatever time of day you can find some stillness, just go into that zone and be still and relax and enjoy what you have. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. And we're hoping that you enjoyed us tonight, that you enjoyed the Fies coming here tonight and sharing from their hearts with us. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you to my dream guy for showing up. I know a lot of y'all didn't think you would ever see him over here live on social media, but here we are, live and in living color. And we just thank you all for joining us tonight. And if we could leave one thing with you, it would be to understand who you are before you try to understand who somebody else is.
I love that.
Do not take baggage into a marriage, unnecessary baggage. Remember who you are. Remember who you are and live like who you are and not try to be like other people. So that's what we have for you tonight. Again, my name is Dr. Sharon Arundel. This is the Marriage Makeover, and I look forward to seeing you next time, which would be 2 weeks from now, on this same space with me. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for my tech support, Christine, out there somewhere. Thank you for those of you who join every single time we come on here. We look forward to seeing you one more time. Thank you and have a good night.
Bye.
Let's talk about love.